It started simply enough. Someone mentioned a home was available for rent. We never actively looked for a house, beyond the conversations in our apartment about wanting a house with a yard. It felt like a blessing, like the universe simply sent us what we desired. We went for a quick visit, not thinking it would materialize into anything, but we were hooked. It was everything we wanted. A beautiful garden at the front with 4 fruit trees at the back. It was also uncharacteristically cheap for a house this size. We moved within 2 weeks. Let me add some background. I'm an Army kid. Moving houses has always been a part of my life, and I've loved setting up a home. Taking an empty shell and breathing life into it. Seeing the house materialize around you. This house was a true shell. The owner purchased it 8 years ago, but it was never lived in. Just waiting for a family to settle in. We lived happily in it for a year, growing flowers and learning some beginner farming. Then, the pandemic hit and something shifted. My husband felt it first. The house seemed colder and emptier when we were confined to it, like it took pleasure from our dependence. I didn't feel this at start, just seeing our blooming flowers outside, and our cabin-style decor indoors still felt just as warm and inviting. I noticed minor changes. Some seepages started to develop, even though we haven't had enough rain, but this seemed simple enough to brush off. My husband continued to bring this up. He worked later hours than me, and started to get more and more agitated about being restricted indoors. He woke up irritable every morning, and his late nights drove him to wondering and noticing small changes in the house. The doors don't stay shut, the cupboards creak, the water smells, and the furniture is just always a little bit titled. I never saw any of this. The only changes I experienced were my dreams. They were always about our home, but wonderful dreams. Enjoying a drink on the porch, taking in the soft noises of our garden, and growing old with my husband in our home. I've never experienced such vivid dreams, but love them, anchoring around a feeling of finally being settled. The first change I did notice was the corner of the room, where the streetlights came through the trees, reflecting a beautiful pattern on the floor. It was the last thing I saw every night when I went to bed, and it was imprinted in my mind. That corner changed. It grew darker and darker till the pattern on the floor was just a shadow, a wisp of what I remembered. This is something that happened throughout the house. The lights grew dimmer, and less of the outdoor came in. Like the house wanted us to stay disconnected with outside. I wanted to believe I was imagining it. The staying indoors all the time was getting to us. I didn't share this with him, and I thought I was being kind, not adding to his stress, but in my heart I knew what I was doing. I was being selfish. I didn't want to discussing moving out. It had now been about 3 weeks of lockdown. This is not to say we were isolated with no contact. Deliveries came, groceries were delivered, but they were all external to the house, insignificant. We, my husband, and I were the internal. We were where the house could yield its power. And in the next few weeks, it did yield that power. My husband received an essential travel request and had to leave. It was just 3 days, and he would drive down, so I was satisfied that it was safe. But he didn't want to leave me alone. He was still convinced that something was wrong in the house. He called it evil and tried his level best to take me with him. I couldn't entirely disagree with him that something was off about at home, but at the same time, it didn't feel evil to me, not malicious. It was just there, maybe a friend. I wish I had listened. As he drove out that morning, and I stepped back into the house, I felt it immediately. Something was wrong. The noises around the house were gone, the sunlight streaming in. It didn't feel warm, and I was completely alone. It was feeling I just couldn't shake, but I played some Netflix in the background and hoped that would give the illusion of company while I went on with my day. We had 3 bedrooms, but since it was just the 2 of us, we mainly used one. One was a study, and the guest bedroom was barely used. We mostly just left it shut. That first night, I felt that shut door mocking me, a strange pull that I should open it, and checked for what was inside, because there was something inside, and a deeper instinct that told me to stay far away. It might seem like an easy choice to you, but that night it wasn't. I felt I was being drawn to that door. I avoided it and decided to call it an early night. I spoke to husband, checked that all the doors were locked, and got into bed. I dreamt of the room. I imagined walking to it, opening the door, and just seeing pure darkness inside. No furniture, no hand-picked paintings on the wall, no walls even, just darkness. I woke up terrified and stuck my hand out to the side of the bed for my husband. Oh, right. It's just me, in my house, my home. The next day was gloomy, rainy, and damp. I kept myself busy with some painting and thought I'll do some meal prep. Repetitive, simple tasks, which I hope will calm my nerves from the night before. Don't look at the door, my brain told me. I tried calling my husband but didn't get through. It was by early evening that I noticed something strange. I had no calls, no family, no friends, not even the usual "buy this loan" call. I checked my phone, it was fine. I tried calling my parents, it rang, no answer. I thought I'll try again. Don't look at the door. By night, I still hadn't spoken to my husband. Now this was weird. This wasn't US. I tried calling, no answer. My phone had signal. Calls were going through, but no one answered. Don't look at the door. I'm usually happy alone, but today I felt lonely. I felt drained and again went to bed early. I had no appetite for dinner anyway. I woke up in the middle of the night to what sounded like a text and grabbed my phone. It was a text from my husband. He had tried calling me all day, but I wasn't answering, so did my parents. He was worried and driving back home. I wanted to text him back, but was too tired and sleepy to even keep my eyes open, so I thought I'll respond in the morning. I woke up the next day, fatigued and with body pain, but at least excited about hearing from my husband. I unlocked my phone to respond, and there was no text. Did I dream it? I was so sure I read it, but I have also been having these crazy dreams, and I didn't sleep well. Could it have been a dream? As I went for a shower, I could feel the exhaustion in my body, and the hot water was a welcome relief. I came out and grabbed some cereal, and tried calling my husband again. No answer. Don't look at the door. So, I sent a text saying I was glad he's coming home as I wasn't feeling the best and might be coming down with flu. I waited for it to be delivered, but nope, it failed. I couldn't understand. I turned the phone on and off and tried again. Same result. Don't look at the door. I decided to go over to my neighbors and ask them for their phone, if something was wrong with mine. I had a nagging feeling in my head, but I refused to think about it as I went to put on some jeans. It won't let you go. I grabbed my phone, the house keys, and my bag to step outside, reached the front door, a damn mess. I found it and shoved it into my bag and went back to the door, turned the knob, and it opened. It won't let you go. I felt relief. See, I was wrong. I was just being silly. The door opened. I walked up to my gate. And then I woke up in my bed in my pajamas. I was so confused. When did I come back in? Did I talk to my neighbors? I checked my phone. It was the next day. But how was that possible? I couldn't have dreamt it. I jumped out of my bed and walked straight to my door and tried to open it. This time it really didn't let me go. I couldn't open it. None of the doors worked. Don't look at the door. Don't look at the door. Don't look at the door. Now I was totally panicking. I tried the windows. They still opened, but it felt like nothing. Not even air could come through the bars as I screamed for help. I banged on the windows, but the streets were empty, like they had been for weeks. I saw some neighbors, but they didn't seem to hear my screaming or even see me. It won't let you go. Hours passed, and I tried everything: calling, messaging, WhatsApp, mails, and nothing worked. I knew my husband was coming back for me, but it was the next day right. Based on his text, he should have already been here. I tried calling again and hung around the front door hoping to see him drive in. But no one came. My body was already drained, but now I felt mentally worn out from all the crying too. I don't know when the last time was that I ate or drank water. I had no hunger, no thirst, just pure terror. Then I heard it. The door to the locked room creaked open. Don't look at the door. God, I hope my husband gets here soon.